It's an Ohio State game day here on the Buckeye Breakdown YouTube channel here on the Buckeyes, the Buckeyes Roundtable YouTube channel. Anthony Moeglin jumping in with you alongside my partner, Kevin Woidke, as we get set for Ohio State versus Purdue later this morning. Kev, what's going on, brother? We get another week 11? Is it week 11 in college football?
I think so, yeah.
Dude, unbelievable. The season's rolling right along, man. What's going on in the world of Kevin Woidke here?
Nothing. Still in captivity, it looks like, based on I got told that when it looked like I was in a basement somewhere. Just an old building. But
I disagree. I like the brick background.
Well, it's actually Brendan has me in captivity because he's mad at me for calling him out for missing so many shows in a row.
There you go.
I still fight. I'll be here. I'm here. You know, that's what I do.
Kev, you know what your backdrop reminds me of? What game was it where we FaceTimed you in? Or we called you in?
That was in front of a church. That was after the Texas game.
Yeah, the Texas game. That was in front of it. Yeah, that was the scoop and score game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dude, better days, good memories there for our Buckeyes. But today, the Ohio State's taking on the Purdue Boilermakers in a game that Ohio State is the heavy favorites in. And Kev, as we went throughout the week, this is a different show for us. Obviously, we're balancing a lot of stuff. A lot of it falls on my back this week. We obviously missed a couple shows earlier in the week, but Kev, you look at this game, and Ohio State is just by far and away the better football team. What's it like, when you're prepping for a game like this and the challenge is, hey, show up and be professional and get the job done in a game where that you're the favorite, but you still got to go out and do it?
I mean, it is showing that you're professional. That's kind of how I describe it. I mean, you go through your routine. You go through your same game day routine you'd have the Saturday after Thanksgiving as you'd have this week. It's just a matter of, making sure that you are professional enough to be like, hey, it happens at the next level. Sometimes you're playing the Bills, sometimes you're playing the Browns. You got to be ready for both of them. So that's kind of how I phrase it. And that's just Coach Mick does a great job, at least when I was there, assuming he's continuing to now, of being able to keep people engaged, make sure their routines are hit. Everything's chugging along as it should.
Yeah. We hinted at it a little bit, but you've been to West Lafayette a couple times, right? You were a part of the team that on that day it didn't go so well for Ohio State. And just as I was kind of prepping for a trip over there, I've never been to that stadium, to that campus. What's it what's it kind of like from a player's perspective? I know it's been some years since you've been over that way, but Purdue's really kind of been in that bottom class of the Big Ten. You get over there and the game day atmosphere feels like there's not much juice to it, especially in a weird kickoff as Ohio State kicks off at 1:00 Eastern. That's not a typo. Game doesn't start till 1. So what's the vibe like when you're going over to take on Purdue in West Lafayette?
I don't really remember it, to be honest. I remember Oregon.
You guys blocked it out of your memory. You threw it away.
I think it was just non-memorable. I remember Nebraska. I remember Penn State. I remember, Oklahoma definitely. I don't remember Purdue. Yeah. I don't really remember Iowa either. But maybe it was just how I was not paying attention that day. Maybe I was on my phone. I don't know. But the trek over wasn't very memorable. And the locker room isn't super memorable. It's just small and kind of it reminds me of a high school, is how I describe it.
It's funny. The high school is right across the street.
I'm not surprised.
It
a high school locker room, nothing special, but as the opponent, they don't really care. Ohio State's home locker room, never been in their away locker room. Their home locker room isn't anything to write home about, really, that much. That's just kind of how it is. It's an old stadium. I don't know how Purdue's home locker room is. You look at LSU and all those SEC schools. That's because their practice field's attached to their stadium.
Yeah, true.
Ohio State's different. The big house is different. Penn State is different. Now, I'm not saying their home locker rooms might not be nice. Nebraska's different, but their visitor locker room was pretty nice. I'm assuming their home locker room's really nice. It's just how Ohio State used to do it. And Purdue's visiting locker room, it's not as bad as some of the other ones. Northwestern was bad. Penn State's visiting locker room was bad. Maryland's was terrible.
Was it?
It was just a room with like benches, not even lockers. It was so. I mean, yeah.
That is so. It's funny that we're going to do this in the off season here because I get curious about that type of stuff. Obviously, you have some really cool experiences playing at these places, but from the outsider's point of view, right? You come in and you're watching this game on TV. There's these massive stadiums, all this stuff, and you're like, yeah, sure, the facilities have to be decent. Just hearing you say even Maryland's was not the best. It's like when I think of Maryland's home stadium, I think, oh yeah, it's like a little bit more on the new side at least. Maybe it's not the best ever, but it's funny to hear you say that that maybe the facilities aren't the best. But for this game tomorrow, or I guess today, Ohio State they've done it all year. And Kev, that's been really one of the more impressive things about them is like, yeah, people are belly aching over their record and over their opponents in the Big Ten, all that stuff, but you still have to show up and you still have to take care of business. They got kind of their first scare of the year at halftime last week. And I just wrote about this over on Roundtable. Like, one of the things was they got tested. They responded to adversity. They came out in the second half and it was like, hey, pedal to the metal. We're going, man. And they showed that they can handle some adversity. And like that part of it just shows, I guess to me, is that, this team never overlooks an opponent. They take everybody seriously. Everybody gets their best and their most attention. And they just go in and they just handle business, man. And I'm not like overly concerned that they're looking past Purdue because it's just not what this personality of this team is.
Yeah. I mean, they give me the vibes of a professional organization. They're not looking to look past. And I think that's how Coach Day's running it now, where it's like, hey, you guys want to, that's a smart recruiting tool. Hey, you guys want to be a pro? Congratulations. It's a pro.
Yeah.
Like that's how this program is run. That's how we choose to do it. We put people in the NFL. Let's start getting used to it now. And that might be how he chooses. That might be how he chooses to do it. That might be how he chooses to recruit. I think it's smart. But like looking at that, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I was watching that. I'm like, all right, we're going to go down and score. Then we're going to score to open the second half. Then it's going to be done. And it
would have been, Kevin, it would have been a 24-point lead had they done that.
I mean, it would have been done. We would have seen Lincoln Keenholz or Tavian St. Clair in by the fourth quarter. But a bad fumble and then a quick touchdown from them. And it was a 1-point game. Because wasn't it 14-13 or
it would have been 17-14. So it was 17-7.
Yep.
And they scored, so it was 17-14. But still, your point remains.
Right, but that's where I'm like, okay, so yeah, but then they came out in the second half and they're like, all right, well, let's go out and get that touchdown and then bury them. And that's kind of what they did. Like they adjusted for the first time they really had to in the second half, and it showed.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they drew up a play during halftime to score a touchdown because they were like, you know what? This is the defense that Jim Knowles is giving us. We've seen him run it 100 times. We know how to beat it. Here's the play we're going to run.
Easy peasy when you do it like that. And Kev, that brings up a perfect point because Ryan Day spoke about this the other day. I think it was either on his radio show or maybe on Pat McAfee, but talked about how this team is chasing efficiency early on in the year, right? And you and I have talked about it a bunch, right? Their pace is so slow, and we're like, all right, maybe I think one of our exact conversations was maybe this is just the personality of this team. And, the positive of that is you slow games down and you can conserve energy. The negative to that is exactly the scenario you just described. I was talking about it this morning. They had 4 possessions in the first half. They scored on the first 3. This is against Penn State. Scored on the first 3, fumbled on the fourth one, and was up 3 at halftime. Right, where if they were like a normal offense, they maybe have 6 possessions and score 4 or 5 times, and it's a little bit different. That's the negative of it. The positive is that the shrinking of a game. But Ryan Day had made a comment saying, "Hey, when we have to turn up the gas, we have another level to it." And dude, if they touch that or get to that, that makes this team even more scary because if they have another gear to get to, man, nobody can beat this group.
Yeah, if that's true, this is kind of how I always viewed like a what if scenario of what if we were so good that we just put it in first gear, win games, and then we just turn it on when we need to, bury teams, dial it back if we need to. Like, I mean, I'm thinking they might go full throttle twice this year, and I think it'll probably be the game in November, at the end of November, and then maybe more, but I don't really see him having much of a challenge up until the semifinal or the national championship game. Hopefully I'm right. I'm right. But, like, if they do truly have another gear, they've looked like the best team in the country at this gear.
Yes.
That's the thing to talk about. Like, people are worried about them. They're better than they were last year at this gear, and we're hearing they could have another one. Like, it's untouchable.
It's insane. And the only reason that people are thinking like, oh, Indiana can hang and could maybe test them is because Indiana is like burying opponents. Like, if Ohio State was going out and winning 55-10 or 60-3 every week, there would be no conversation. The difference is Ohio State's winning 38-13 or 28-3 or whatever. So, you know, they're definitely taking their foot off the gas and being really smart and conservative. And you're right, man. The moment they step on it and you're like, this is this team in full throttle. It's look out below, because you're not going to find many teams that can score with them, or zero teams that can score with them. And if they're putting it on you, there's going to be zero defenses that can stop them. So that takes us to today. All right, Kev, we got a game against Purdue, a game that Ohio State does have to just get in there, take care of business, get out of Dodge healthy. Like, that's the big one here today. And again, this game doesn't kick off till 1:00. It's not a noon kick. It is a 1:00 kick. It's on Big Ten Network. So if you have YouTube TV, you're still going to be able to get it. No worries there. But Kev, this game opened and Ohio State was 26.5-point favorites. The live spread as of this recording is 30.5. Over under 48.5. Let's talk about this game for a little bit. Ohio State's offense should have no problem. Their defense also should have no problem. Purdue doesn't really present too much of a challenge. They're 2-7. There's not much to love about these Boilermakers, and Ohio State should have their way kind of on all sides.
Yeah, I mean, it really should be a walk in the park. We'll see. I think it'll be on par with Washington.
Yeah.
You know, similar to Illinois. Like, I think it should be hopefully like that, where they score when they need to and then just get out. Like, maybe see a lot of Isaiah West, maybe some James Peoples, maybe get more people touches, maybe more Brandon Ennis. Who knows? But now is the time to get people ready for if their number is called or when their number is called later in the season.
Are you predicting? We talked about this earlier in the week. I want to bring this back up. Is this a Max Clare special today?
It has to be. I mean, it just has to be. They're going to give them the ball as much as they can. I think Purdue's going to know they're going to try to do that, and I see them being like, all right, well, let's try and guard him. Yep. Here's the thing. I don't think anyone on Purdue's defense can stay with Max. Like, you can't sacrifice your best defender to cover a tight end out of vengeance. Yeah. Like, you just can't. Like, yeah. I'm sorry. So that's why I think that, you know, their best coverage guys are going to be covering our best receivers. So why not get Max Clare open a lot? Why not work him in? Who knows? Maybe they've been disguising a package because it seems like Coach Day read the art of war in the offseason and is just trying to methodically make his way through a mundane schedule before he starts unloading everything. Maybe he throws a few extra tight end plays on that we're not used to, that no one's seen before for him today.
It's a really good point. I know it was a little bit in jest, but like, I think it's a really good point. Like, it's these types of games where coaches can sprinkle in something new, right? Because, you know, from a game plan perspective, when let's say Ohio State gets Texas Tech in the first round, which you and I didn't get a playoff show. We're going to have a playoff show next week to look at the bracket. But let's say Ohio State gets Texas Tech. They're going to see all the film, right? And you throw in a couple new formations that they're going to have to spend time preparing for them. So look to see a little bit of that today with this Ohio State team. But yeah, I mean, this one is very much so. Get in, get out, just be healthy. Like, that's the only thing you're evaluating from this one, is like, just get these boys back to Columbus in one piece, and turn that page to UCLA next week, and start really dialing this thing in to get ready for Purdue. So, Kev, as we shut it down here today, we're going to go with a prediction. We usually do a pick and a preview and a pick. I'll have another one coming out here from the field. Obviously, in the home office right now, we're going to transport here and be in the stadium there today. But Kev, what's your prediction for this game this afternoon?
I'm thinking Max Clare 2 touchdowns, Caden Curry 2 sacks.
Oh,
that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Are you giving a score? Are we giving a score or no?
No.
No score? All right. Hey, it's a props guy. It's a props guy.
At least 24 points or 14 points. At least 14 points.
All right. Get on that line. Ohio State over 14.5. There you go. That'll pay out minus 10 million. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. 30.5 is a lot of points. That's a lot of points, especially at the pace that Ohio State's going to play. I don't think this game will be close even for a minute, right? I think Ohio State, whenever they get the ball, they're going to go right down the field and score, and they're going to just continue to do it over and over again, and then they're going to just boa constrictor the Purdue offense. It's going to be, I think it's going to be one of those games that if you're watching it and you got to clean your living room or do the dishes while the game's going on, today is a good day to do it. Maybe some yard work. It's supposed to snow. It's supposed to snow on Monday. Just a heads up. Make sure you get those leaves cleaned up. Kev, make sure you get that house cleaned up, brother, because
Brett never lets me out of his basement.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, you got to get out of jail, bro. You got to get out of jail. All right, everybody. Enjoy the heck out of your football Saturday. Make sure you're following along with all things Buckeyes on the Buckeyes Roundtable. Fun site for us. If you're new to the channel, thanks for being here. Subscribe to YouTube. Get over to our site and go follow Kevin. He's always dropping stuff in there. Go follow myself and the rest of the team. Love providing content like that. And interact with us. Drop us a note. Let us know what you think about our shows, about our content, all that stuff, and most importantly, about our Buckeyes. So we're going to get out of here on that. Ohio State versus Purdue. Go ahead.
Hold on. Last thing before we get out of here. I know I usually sign off well. I'm going to interrupt it this time. Shout out Nate Brock, former Buckeye, current coach at Georgia Tech. 3 tight ends over 100 yards this year receiving. Only school in the country with it. Shout out, Nate.
Wow. Shout out the Yellow Jackets, and everybody enjoy the heck out of your football Saturdays. And like I said, make sure you're following along. We'll be back after the game, post-game pressers, live show from the field, and so much more. So thanks for hanging out with us here on your Saturday morning. We'll be back with you here on the Buckeyes Roundtable YouTube channel on Buckeyes Roundtable.